Welcome to AI Brief, episode 143. I'm Amin.
And I'm Leah.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into some really interesting developments shaking up the AI world.
That's right. We've got news on Windsurf's big move with their own AI models, some fascinating shifts in what users actually prefer based on Poe's latest report.
And a study that, well, it suggests large language models might struggle a bit more than we thought with ongoing conversations.
Plus, we'll hit some other key updates and point you towards a few trending AI tools as well.
Okay, so let's kick things off with Windsurf. They're an AI coding platform, and they've just launched their own family of models, SWE-1, they're calling it.
Yeah, and what's key here, I think, is that they're not just aiming for code generation. It's about supporting the whole software engineering lifecycle.
Right, the entire process.
Yeah.
So the family includes the main SWE1, then there's SWE1. That one replaces their old Cascade base model.
An SWE1 mini, an even smaller one.
And get this, their own internal tests are showing the main SWE1 model really holding its own, even against established non-frontier models.
And they're saying it performs pretty close to Claude 3.7 Sonnet. That's quite a claim.
It is, and they've built it to work across different places developers are already working, editors, terminals, browsers.
And they mentioned this flow awareness system. Sounds like it's designed to make the handoff between the AI and the developer much smoother, keeping track of context.
Which is clever. And thinking about that rumored OpenAI acquisition, the $3 billion one.
Right. The timing makes you wonder if this SWE1 tech is maybe a core part of that whole deal.
It definitely raises an eyebrow. Okay, so shifting from a single company to the broader trends. Poe's usage report for spring 2025 gives us a glimpse into what's actually popular.
And it looks like preferences are changing fast across text, images, video, pretty much everything.
So in text, GPT-4.1 and Gemini 2.5 Pro seem to gain traction really quickly after release.
Yeah, grabbing like 10%, 5% message share, respectively. And interestingly, Claude saw about a 10% drop around the same time.
It just shows how quickly things move.
Absolutely. And it's not just the general chat models. Reasoning models have seen a big jump.
The ones for more logical tasks.
Exactly. They went from what? 2% of text messages back in January up to 10% now. And Gemini 2.5 Pro seems to be a big part of that growth.
Interesting. What about images?
Also shifting. GPT Image 1 seems to have carved out a significant space, about 17% usage share.
So it's now competing more directly with Black Forest Labs' FLUX and Google's Imagen 3.
Seems like it. And video. China's Kling models came out of, well, almost nowhere to grab, around 30% usage right after launch.
Wow. And audio.
Still 11 labs, they're dominating with something like 80% share. It really hammers home how one or two strong releases can completely change user behavior.
No kidding. Okay, let's switch to some research findings. This study from Microsoft and Salesforce, it looked at how LLMs handle conversations.
Right, specifically those back and forth chats where maybe you don't give all the instructions up front, they sort of trickle in.
So they tested 15 leading models, including the big names like Claude 3.7 Sonnet, GPT 4.1, Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Across 6 different kinds of tasks, and the results were, well, a bit surprising.
How so?
Well, if it was just a single instruction, a single turn, the models did great, like 90% success rate.
Okay, that sounds good.
But when the conversation went over multiple turns, with instructions revealed piece by piece, that success rate dropped quite a bit, actually, down to around 60%.
60%. So what was happening? Why the drop?
It seems the models tend to get lost, as the researchers put it. They might jump to conclusions too early.
Oh, okay.
And then build on an initial response that might not even be quite right because they didn't have the full picture yet.
So they struggle to adapt as new information comes in during the chat.
Kind of, yeah. And interestingly, things like adjusting the model's temperature, how creative or random it is, didn't really fix it.
Even using specific reasoning models didn't consistently help.
Apparently not, across the board.
Yeah.
So it suggests that for applications needing reliable back and forth, developers really need to focus on managing that conversation context.
That's a really important insight for anyone building conversational AI. Okay, let's cover some of the other news buzzing around.
Sure. Sounds like Meta has delayed its big behemoth AI model. Reports suggest it wasn't showing enough improvement, causing some frustration internally.
Meanwhile, Manus AI, they had some viral stuff. They've added new image capabilities. Apparently, it tries to understand user intent better, plan workflows.
And use multiple specialized tools together, sort of a multi-agent approach for images.
And OpenAI. Sam Altman dropped a cryptic post teasing a new tool for developers, always keeping us guessing.
Definitely. On a bigger scale, the UAE and the US are partnering up. They're planning to build a massive AI campus in the UAE.
Potentially the largest outside the U.S., housing maybe 2.5 million NVIDIA chips. That's huge.
It really is. Then there's an open source startup, Intelligent Internet Inc. They've released a medical AI model, II Medical 9B.
And they're making a pretty bold claim, right? GPT 4.5 level performance,
Mm-hmm.
but running locally on a laptop.
Yeah, and supposedly at no inference cost. We'll see how that pans out.
Also, xAI's Grok had a bit of a hiccup.
Uh-oh. What happened?
It started generating some, let's say, controversial conspiracy theories. They blamed an unauthorized modification.
Oof. Okay. They're promising new safety checks, I assume.
Yes, they are. Elsewhere, Hydra, known for those talking baby clips, raised $32 million.
Ah, to make their video avatars more expressive.
Exactly. And U.com is claiming its ARI platform beats OpenAI's deep research for advanced research tasks. And they've launched some enterprise features too.
Lots of competitive claims flying around.
Always. OpenAI is also launching a challenge, the OpenAI to Z challenge.
What's that about? Using their models to find archaeological sites in the Amazon, there's a $250,000 prize.
That's a novel application.
Hmm.
And Salesforce is buying an AI agent startup, Convergence AI.
Right, folding them into their Agent Force platform. Seems like everyone's building out their agent capabilities.
Definitely a trend. Okay, before we wrap up, let's quickly mention some trending tools people might want to look into.
Sure. There's xGen Small from Salesforce, aimed at enterprise use. AlphaEvolve, that's an AI coder focused on math and algorithms.
Stable Audio Open Small, a text-to-audio model for music samples. Psyche, from News and Research, working on OpenAI infrastructure.
DocsHound automates documentation from demos. Scribe helps with LinkedIn growth using AI for content ideas.
Matter AI for code review assistance. Scotty, a no-code platform for building agents quickly.
And Tome, which uses AI to help create and share ideas, presentations, that sort of thing.
Quite a list. So that brings us to the end of this deep dive. Hopefully that gives you a good sense of the key shifts and news in AI right now.
We tried to cover the big movers and some of the underlying currents, like that LLM conversation study.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you found this useful, please do consider following AI Brief and maybe sharing it so others can stay up to date too.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.